Welcome to the New Orleans Saints Playoff Report here on NewOrleansSaints.com. We are presented by the New Orleans Advocate, and I am joined by Advocate Saints beat writer and expert Nick Underhill, who will give you each and everything you want to know about the New Orleans Saints over this next period of time, including the Super Bowl when the Saints reach that. But we're gonna stay right here for today. Friday practice, Saints are a couple of days away from Sunday's NFC Championship game against the Los Angeles Rams in the Superdome. Already beat the Rams there 45-35 during this regular season, but a new day now for them, Nick. And one of the things we know during this playoff stretch, and we've seen during this regular season, the crowd has been an influence for the Saints this season.
Yeah, and I think it's significant every week, but this week in particular, because the way the Rams like to run their offense, they like to get to the line of scrimmage very quick with about 30 seconds left. And Sean McVay likes to diagnose the defense and tell Jared Goff kind of what he's seeing, and they can talk up to 15 seconds. So if the crowd can come out here and get loud, that can disrupt what they like to do on offense a little bit and maybe make things harder on Goff. He managed it the first time they were playing, but this crowd's going to be screaming to help get this team to a Super Bowl. It's going to be at a different level. And that's why Sean Payton was saying, hey, start early. Don't wait until, 15, 20 seconds out. Yell from whistle to whistle. And if they do that, it really could have an impact on how the Rams operate on offense.
Yeah, and speaking of Coach Sean Payton and Coach Sean McVay, here's what they had to say about that.
But having played in some of the really loud environments, and we think we've got one of them, if not the loudest, man, there's challenges that come with it, and they're just, your get off. But Sean does a good job. He'll come out of the huddle quickly and snap the ball. And the next time they'll be up at the line, and so they do a good job trying to counter that with tempo or change of tempo. And I think what's important for our fan base is understanding when that crowd noise needs to begin differently this week than normal weeks. That crowd noise needs to begin prior to 15 seconds left on the, that crowd noise needs to begin, just as that last play finished. And look, you get 65, 70 snaps of that crowd noise earlier than normal and louder than normal. It's difficult.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge advantage that, a great atmosphere and environment for the home team provides, that it definitely forces you to adjust and adapt, and it limits your ability to communicate a lot of things that you would be able to do otherwise if you were at home. So that's definitely something that we have to be aware of. Fortunately, we've played in this environment earlier in the year, but I would imagine that it's going to be an even better atmosphere just based on the magnitude of the game.
Now, offensively, we know that the Rams are missing a critical part of what they do offensively with no Cooper Kupp out there. However, they still have Brandon Cooks. They still have Robert Woods. They're still fully arrayed at wide receiver. And one of the guys who's going to have to try to stop that is going to be cornerback Eli Apple, who his second game with the Saints came against the Rams. Obviously, he had some spotty shots earlier in his Saints career, Eli Apple did. But he seems to have come on strong lately.
Yeah, I feel like he's really been a bright spot of this defense. It did take him a little bit to fit in. That's a lot to pick up when you're first coming in with the team. But since that Atlanta game, when he was able to follow Julio Jones, I thought he did a good job in that game, even though Julio got some yards. But moving forward from that, he's really settled in. They're playing more press coverage. I think that's made a big difference for him. And the interesting thing with him, too, is that I feel like in the first quarter of games, it's a little bit shaky for him. And he's talked about this. He's got to get a feel for the game, figure out how it's being called. By the time the second half comes around, there's no penalties on him. He's had one in the second half of games since coming to the Saints. Early in the game, it's a little bit spotty, but once he settles in and plays well, he's been really lights out for this team. And I feel like, the narrative about him when he came here was a little bit harsh in New York. I don't think we've really seen that. I think he's been a major upgrade for them, and, he's really lifted the floor on that position. And it's maybe tough on Ken Crawley not getting the snaps, but you can kind of see why they had to make that move.
Yeah. Eli Apple tells us about his newfound comfort level with the Saints. Eli, how much are you looking forward to this challenge this time and trying to get to the Super Bowl?
We're all looking really forward to this. They're a great offense, just from the running back position to the quarterback, offensive line. Very few weaknesses at all, so it's going to be a great challenge. We're all looking forward to it.
You talked the other day after the game about how much you appreciated being here and how much fun it was in the playoffs. How much fun is this right now for you to still be playing football right now?
Oh, man, I'm enjoying myself. We're all having a great time, but it's about just winning and taking it one game at a time right now. So we're just locking in and playing our best football.
Eli, you're a young guy, but it's been about 8-10 years since this team was in the NFC Championship game last time. Do you have a sense of how difficult it is to be able to accomplish this?
Oh, for sure. Winning in this league is very hard, so you never can take that for granted. You just got to go to work really hard and communicate as much as possible and just get better every day.
Well, once again, we're going to wrap it up here on the New Orleans Saints playoff report. Nick, give us your final thoughts heading into this game.
Yeah, it's an interesting game because the last time they played, I think the thought would have been you got to take away the passing game. I think that's shifted a little bit for them. Since week 11 on, passes traveling 15 or more yards through the air, they're at 28.5% on those passes. It was about 56 when they came into New Orleans the last time. The key to this game is stopping the run. The Saints have had the top run defense in the league. They've proven it week after week after week. No 100-yard rushers. It's a pretty big two-headed monster here, and if they can overcome the loss of Sheldon Rankins, which I think will hurt in the pass rush, but pass defense, they've liked getting Onyemata in there. So I feel like it sets up well for them. If they can take that away, maybe you want to entice a couple shots down the field, make them try to beat you that way where, it's been a little bit of a struggle for them. And if that heat check works out in your favor, I feel like this game could set up well for the Saints. I'm going to take them 30-24.
All right, guys, you heard it from Nick Underhill. Follow him on Twitter. He is a beast. If there's an injury report to have, you got to check out NewOrleansSaints.com for it. Obviously, that will be progressing on tomorrow. Also, we'll find out exactly who will be in the game, who won't be in the game active, and then we'll continue to do that until Sunday. Until Sunday, we will see you at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome for the NFC Championship game. I'm John DeShazier, here for videographer, producer Brendan Hassett. Who dat?